Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be doing this setup on this champagne wall for a prom. It was kind of last minute. Well, not them going to the prom, but me doing the setup. So I'm doing the H method on the back of the champagne wall. Sorry, lost my train of thought. And I used duct tape for the H method because I was working on plywood. I didn't really care to use the Scotch blue tape that I usually do. If you guys notice here, I am jumping back and forth from clusters of 6 balloons and then quads of 4 balloons. If you guys watch my previous videos, you know I've been blending more with my designs. Instead of going like cluster to cluster, I may do quad, then cluster. That way it can blend into the next color. And right here is a prime example how the quad of the black is right under the quad of the green. So it's kind of like blended in and is not going directly a straight line. Sometimes when you do cluster to cluster, whether it's a cluster 6 balloons or cluster 8 balloons right on top of each other, there's no real transition, in my opinion. These are just my opinions. There's no like transition to the next color. In some ways, like in my head, I see like straight lines when I do like cluster to cluster versus when I actually blend it. And not that the other way is, not a good way, or not nice to do, or it looks ugly, because I still use that way sometimes. But this is just me trying to do something different and, learning from each setup that I do and what I want to see different next time. So this is just another method that I started doing. You guys know I change my technique as I do each setup, or I use the same technique and maybe switch it up a little bit. So this is just one of those times and what I'm doing right now. But yeah, so as I am going in, I didn't have a design at all. This wasn't even supposed to be the backdrop we was using. We ended up having to get this backdrop that day. What was it? That morning I picked this up. So we were supposed to have something else, and then we ended up having to get this. So the whole design that I had in my head pivot. I had to pivot and think of something else on the spot, which I'm not, I don't mind because I'm used to doing that anyway. But because it was so last minute, yeah, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Sorry, you guys. I'm a little out of it. I don't know why. I have so many videos. I'm backed up and I need to do them. And I'm not trying to rush. So you guys know, if you have a question, just leave it in the comments box, because I'm having like a lot of brain freezes right now, and I apologize. But I finished this, and I'm adding on my 5-inch balloons. You guys asked, I inflate my 5-inch balloons. I use one pump, so they probably about 3 or 3.5 inches for my 5 inches. I don't use the sizes for my larger balloons, the 11-inch and 18-inch. I just eyeball it, and I guess my eyeballs are good because everybody. I had a few questions this week, like, did you size them? And I'm like, no, I just eyeball it. But to that point, though, you don't really have to make your 11 inches different sizes, because as I learned a long time ago, 11-inch will still look like 11-inch in the photo. If you want dimension, you want, texture or whatever inside your garland, then add different sizes of balloons. So those 11 inches, those 18 inches, 24 inches, because if you try to inflate an 11-inch, a 7-inch, and then one is an 8.5 to 9-inch, in the picture, it's still going to look the same. So don't fight yourself trying to make your balloons different sizes, your 11 inches different sizes. Same thing for your 5 inches. For me, I think it just looks more clean when they kind of have the same size and you just use different size balloons. The 5 inches all can be the same size. They don't have to be 1, 2 inches, 1, 3.5, 4 inches. Just leave them all the same size. It would save you more headache if you just inflate them all the same. And just make sure you add more sizes in your actual design. So make sure you have your 18 inches. Make sure you have your 11 inches, 5 inches, so you can give your design those different dimensions. So, yeah. So once I finished the top part, I noticed what I was going to do. I was going to do the illusion thing where you basically, it looks like the garland is wrapping around the wall. So the balloons was coming from the top over the edge, and then from the bottom part it was coming from the side and then around to the front. So that was the plan. After that, once I knew that, it's pretty much just tying the balloons in and figuring everything out. I was going in shaping. If you see that you have a gap somewhere, if you guys doing the neck to neck method, if you see you have a gap somewhere, then just go in and make sure that your cluster is tied to the cluster above, next to it, whichever way. And if you may not have this same problem if you use like 260 and fishing line, but if you're doing neck to neck and you see like there's a gap somewhere, it may be because your cluster is not tied to another cluster somewhere that's next to it. So I put that rake point at the bottom. I use duct tape again. As you guys see, I use the Gorilla duct tape, and I'll leave the link in the description box. I get it from Home Depot or Lowe's, and I keep it in my kit because I use a lot of my H methods with that, or lately I've been using the transparent clear tape as well. But because I was working on hardwood floor and things like that, and I just know it would stick, so I didn't mind using the duct tape on this floor. And here I am just still adding in. That was a quad that I added in there, and I'm adding that quad you see right there. That was actually intended to move up a little bit more because I'm trying to cover, you see you guys, that 18 inch. This is a prime example. I like my 18 inches or 16 inch balloons to be surrounded by 11 inch balloons. I don't like to close out my garlands with them. I don't like them to be poking out on the side, on the ends. I like them to face forward, and I like them to be surrounded. So you can kind of see how it, in the back of it, in the video, it just looks like you just see that 18 inch, that black one I'm referring to, and there's nothing behind it. In my head, I would want to put some 11 inches behind it so you can see 11 inches, then the 18 inches. When I first added that quad of black balloons, that's how it was supposed to be, and I think I added in too far down. But here you go. I'm trying to add some in, as you see now. There's some 11 inches there. Not really feeling it. And I added that green quad to the right. I'm going to take that out because it started to extend out a little bit too far, which I wasn't really feeling. I didn't want it to be like that wide. So I took that out, and now I'm still playing. And a lot of this stuff is shaping, and it does take time to really get into the groove of shaping instead of just putting balloons together. I feel like we all can make a cluster and tie it together, or attach it 260 fishing line, whatever. But to really give your design that next level, you really have to go in and start shaping it and really start to think what you like. What do you like? What kind of shapes you like? What kind of anything. I don't know how to explain it, but I like to look at things other than balloons. Like maybe I like home decor a lot, so I look at home decor when it comes to color palettes and things like that, and then I translate that into balloons. And I look at different shapes, abstract things like that to come up with different shapes. But yeah, this is basically the final sub, you guys. It was a quick one. Please let me know if you have any questions. I apologize for having so many brain fogs, but this is it. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.